An emotional day in an Idaho courtroom for the sentencing of Bryan Kohberger, the man who pled guilty to killing 4 University of Idaho students back in 2022. Family and friends gave their impact statements all morning. Kohberger's plea deal took away the chance for the prosecution to pursue the death penalty. I talked with 21 News legal expert attorney Matt Mangino earlier today for his commentary on the plea deal and sentencing. Let's talk a little bit about the sentencing first. For the murders of the 4 students, Kohberger will face or serve 4 fixed life sentences consecutively, along with a 10-year sentence for the count of burglary that will be served consecutively. Why did he not make any of the sentences concurrent?
Well, the judge made it clear during sentencing that this was about, the victims and, 4 vibrant young college students who were killed. And the judge's point was that he didn't want to diminish the gravity of it in any way by running them concurrently. He wanted them to run consecutively. So he sentenced him on 4 consecutive life without parole sentences, plus a sentence on the burglary charge.
Of course, not all the families agreed with this plea deal. Do you feel the deal was probably the best decision for the prosecution?
Well, I thought that they had a strong case. They had, video surveillance, they had cell phone pings, they had DNA. So they had a strong case. But of course, you have to consider a lot of the variables here. Some of the families, were for this. Some were opposed to it. It's a very, very difficult process to go through a trial when your child has been murdered, and to listen to that, so I think that was part of the factors that the prosecutors sought. I mean, certainly he's going to prison. He's never going to have a chance to get out. But the question is, Idaho has the death penalty. And, that was an option here, and they took that off the table to get this plea.
What do you think the process may have looked like had this gone to trial?
Well, I think the defense was going to try to point the finger at somebody else. As I said, there was some evidence that I thought was strong in this case against the defense. But obviously, if you're going to go in front of a jury, you have to have something plausible for them to hang their hat on. And so it's going to be pointing the finger at somebody else in this case. But I think as it evolved, the motions that they filed, which were dismissed by the court, to suppress certain evidence and to suppress certain statements, as those began to build against the defense, I think they realized that their only option was to try to save Kohberger's life.
Finally, the judge warned against any media collaborations with Kohberger on book deals and other projects. Why can't a judge prohibit a convicted individual from doing those types of projects?
Well, in most states, they have what's called a slayer's statute. And it was also referred to as the son of Sam law, which specifically says that someone who's been convicted of a crime cannot make any money on the movie, book rights, things like that of that crime. They can't generate income by their criminal conduct. And so, typically defendants are barred from that. But that doesn't bar other people from going to the defendant and say, hey, I want to write a book about you and put out some sensational graphic book that talks in detail about these murders. Kohberger might not get anything out of it, but the families will certainly hurt from something like that.
And you anticipate probably something like this will happen? A case this profile, high profile?
It's a high profile case. True crime is so strong in this country and around the world. People are interested in these kind of cases. So I would expect something's coming along.
Yep. As always, Attorney Mangino, we appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.